Wow, what a day. I woke up early this morning to the news that the CFO of Huawei, Meng Wanzhou, has reached a deal with the US Department of Justice to allow her to be free and come back home. And she left Canada on a plane late this afternoon Canadian time. It's about 4:30, and she's due to touch down in Shenzhen Boan Airport at about 9:30 this evening Shenzhen time. And maybe by the time you're watching this video, she will have already landed and be back home in Shenzhen. And then a little later, news came that Michael Spavour and Michael Korvig, who are two Canadian citizens that were arrested and sentenced for spying in China, they have also been released, and they are both also on a plane back to Canada. And in this video, I'm going to break down all the events of today, so stay tuned. Right, welcome back to the Barrett channel and welcome to this video. If you're new to the channel, I run this channel with my son Ollie. We cover many things, mostly China related, and that's really due to that we can't travel. But yeah, so you know, if you're interested in our content, consider hitting that subscribe button. Now let's get into the meat of this video. Now, as I said at the start of this video, Meng Wanzhou, who is the CFO of Huawei, has reached a deal with the US Justice Department to be released. Now, back in December 2020, she was also offered a deal by the US Justice Department, and that was a plea deal. And that was rejected by both Meng Wanzhou and her sort of team of lawyers, because they believed that she was innocent, and the evidence in the court that was presented sort of pretty much beyond doubt proved that she was innocent of any wrongdoing. However, today's deal is very, very different. So the events of the day started by Miss Meng appearing by video link in the New York court to testify in her case, and the judge swore her in. She said she would tell the truth and nothing but the truth, and then the proceedings started. Firstly, the charges were read out. Now, those charges are of conspiracy to commit bank fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Then Miss Meng had the opportunity to enter her plea, and she pleaded not guilty. Now, it's very important to understand the plea was not guilty. She was not guilty of committing any wrongdoing whatsoever. Then the judge indicated and said that the US Department of Justice had reached a deal. Now, that deal was a DPA, and a DPA is a deferred prosecution agreement. So what is a deferred prosecution agreement? Well, it's an agreement that allows Miss Meng to plead not guilty, and the charges, the prosecution, is deferred. And in this particular case, is deferred from December the 1st, 2018 until December the 1st, 2022, so 4 years. And basically what that means is during that time, if Ms. Meng agrees to the conditions of the DPA on December the 1st or December the 2nd, 2022, all charges against her will be dropped. As far as what the details of the DPA are, I don't know, because as part of the agreement, those details have not been made public, and also Miss Meng is forbidden to speak about them until after the 1st of December 2022. And I suspect at that time that most of the public and the news cycle will have forgotten about the case or moved on. So just to clarify, Miss Meng has pleaded not guilty, and that not guilty plea has been accepted by the US Department of Justice. Then after Miss Meng had signed the DPA agreement, the US authorities contacted the Canadian authorities and told them to formally withdraw the extradition request for her extradition to the USA. There was then another court hearing in the Canadian court, and shortly after that, Miss Meng was released, and her ankle bracelet that she'd been wearing during the whole time of her house arrest in Canada was removed, and she went directly to Vancouver Airport to board an Air China flight back to Shenzhen. That flight left Canada at 16:27 local time and is en route to Boan International Airport, Shenzhen, and is expected to land at about 9:30 this evening China time. And as I said at the beginning of the video, there's a good chance that by the time you're watching this video, she will already be back on Chinese soil here in Shenzhen. Now, I really think this is good news for all parties involved, China, the US and Canada. Now, although it was obvious from all the evidence that was presented during the extradition case that Miss Meng was absolutely innocent, especially the latest information that come about, HSBC knew all about the relationship between Huawei, Skycom and everything. It still was a possibility that she would have faced extradition to the US. And generally, how slow legal systems move, that it's possible she could have been in the US for up to 5 years. Now, that would have not been good for the relationship between China and the US, for sure. So I think it's very important that we've reached this deal today. Now, she was arrested initially under the Trump administration, and I think actually the Biden administration didn't really want to continue with this scenario. So I think it was very much in their interest to open negotiations with China to actually get this situation resolved. So I would imagine there was a lot of phone calls between high-level diplomats from China and Canada and the US in order to come to a suitable resolution to this case. And I also believe that the Chinese government worked very hard behind the scenes to secure the release of Miss Meng. And this was one of their main sticking points in furthering negotiations with the USA. And it's kind of like, unless we can find a solution to release Miss Meng, then unfortunately we can't move forward with other negotiations. So I really hope that today's deal has opened the way for those negotiations to move forward and make progress between China and the USA. And with regards to the Chinese government working hard during the flight on the way back, Miss Meng wrote an article that really thanked the Chinese government and acknowledged all the hard work that they put in to secure her release. She also thanked all her friends, her family, her colleagues, and all the people of China for supporting her and giving her sort of drive and positivity throughout the whole time of this case has been going on over the last more than 3 years. So just to say, I think today's decision is a win for both the USA and China. So for China, Meng Wanzhou has pleaded not guilty and she's on her way home to China. So that's a win for China. And for the USA, it's removed the roadblock that was preventing further negotiations and discussions on the overall trade issue with China. So I'm really hopeful that what's happened today is the start of a new chapter, and the USA and China can move forward and sort of resolve even more of their differences and just basically move forward and more cooperation. Obviously, if the US and China can cooperate, it pretty much benefits everyone else around the world, because when we have a situation where China and the US are not cooperating, it's really not good for sort of the rest of the world. Everybody loses, not just the USA and China. As I mentioned also at the beginning, the other good news today is that both Michael Spavour and Michael Korvig have been released by the Chinese authorities, and they're also on the way back home to Canada as we speak. Now, I'm not personally very familiar with the case of the two Michaels. However, I do find it hard to imagine that the Chinese authorities would just pick random Canadian citizens off the street and arrest them. So I feel there must have been a reason other than Meng Wanzhou that they were arrested in the first place. But saying that, I do think they probably would have been dealt with differently if it wasn't for Meng Wanzhou being arrested by the Canadian authorities on behalf of the USA. However, it's good news that they are also both on their way back to Canada, and I'm pretty sure their families and their relatives and friends will be very, very happy to see them too. Just as Miss Meng's family, relatives and friends will be very, very happy to see her back in China. Lastly, I just want to thank you for your time in watching this video today. If you'd like to support the channel and the work we do on this channel, the links to support us are in the description below. I'll also pop our donation links on the screen now. And just a very quick update on my cancer treatment. On Monday or Tuesday, I will receive my 3rd cycle of chemotherapy. It's kind of like the first week after I've had the chemotherapy cycle, I'm feeling a little bit not so good, maybe a 7 out of 10. But during the 2nd week, I start to feel pretty much normal. My appetite comes back and I have more energy. As you can see, I now have lost most of my hair. In fact, it was coming out, so I had it shaved off, and that's why I'm wearing my hat. But yeah, I will keep you updated on my treatment, but right now it seems to be going exactly as planned, which I'm really grateful for. I'm grateful for the support of all you guys. But anyway, for now, as always, take care.